Albert Einstein, Thomas Edison, and Wright brothers. They were completely homeschooled and they didn't have any formal degree and they created the first aeroplane of the world. Why? Self-learning.
What is the turnover?
It is around 15 lakh per annum.
It's really mind-blowing. 15-year-old who is homeschooled, has her own startup, got inspired in chess, played chess, and now has started a board game company.
By 21, I want at least 5 CR to 10 CR turnover. In schooling, traditional schooling, I feel like you're in a bubble.
Homeschooling kids are heavily preferred in Ivy League. The people are afraid that the child has to learn this by this age. If you really come out of that fear, child will learn a lot of things by themselves.
Welcome to another episode of Rocklaz. Today we are going to talk about homeschooling. And on our show we have two guests. One is Pihu Garg and Nitin Garg. Nitin has been a parent to a child who has been homeschooled. And Pihu, of course, was the student. So we'll get to know about all the FAQs that you have about homeschooling and educational system in India and, of course, internationally. So we have covered several topics in this podcast. I hope you enjoy the episode till the end. And make sure to subscribe to the channel so we can keep bringing such amazing episodes to you and that you don't miss out. Cheers. Nitin, welcome to the show.
Thanks Tanmay.
Nitin, could you briefly introduce yourself for the audience?
Yeah, my name is Nitin and I have worked in corporate for more than 16 years and now I am basically working with two startups. We have started two startups and one of the startup is my daughter's startup, which is Homeschooled, and my own startup is on building homeschooling platform for kids. And so we are building a homeschooling platform. So yeah, we have been researching a lot and building that. And my daughter also runs her own business. That's in basically she trains board games. So that's me. I am also like everyone engineer and MBA, but but more on that. Yeah, this is the startup I started, and at this age I took that risk. And my daughter is supporting me as she's running her own business and I'm running my business. So my company's name is TrueSpark.
We will talk about that in detail very shortly.
Yeah.
Burning question. What is homeschooling?
Yeah, homeschooling is very simple. Homeschooling is basically when the child studies at home and doesn't goes to school. Very simple definition is that. And everybody has their own definitions, which I will come to. But basically the child stays at home, doesn't goes to school, doesn't goes to a formal institutional education structure, and the education is done at home. Very simple on that sense, but everybody has their own definitions of.
Why would anybody want to keep their child at home?
Why would anybody want to keep the child at home? I think I wanted my daughter to be with me, and I also thought the best part of all was that my thinking was that more than the teachers, I can give more education and more sanskar and a lot of things to my daughter rather than I believe that what teachers will give. So that was one reason you can keep your child at home, because ultimately if you meet anyone, 80% of the character is not built by school. 80% of the character is built by the family and the atmosphere at home. I think 20%, I think you will agree that, because whatever the sanskar is given by home, so in same school, the kids who are doing better, if you see their 90% atmosphere at home is better. So why not the whole thing comes from that? And I personally don't believe in that institutional structure. And apart from that, I found a lot of issues in that structure. I had complete genuine question about the physical fitness. So I saw that there was, wherever she went for few schools also, but she went for few schools. One was an alternate school, and then we sent her for 2 years to IG school and 1 year to a simple school because we were getting transferred. But there was nothing on the physical fitness side. First, I thought physical fitness side is very important. What about intense sports, intense exercises, jogging? Every day that schedule has to be there with, I think all the schools lagged. And what about the mental fitness? If the child is feeling sad, nobody's there question. Even the best of the best schools will not, feel that the child is feeling sad, so I should talk to him, take it out. In home it happens कि अच्छा the child is feeling sad, so चलो यार थोड़ा बात करते हैं. मतलब पेरेंट्स विल अंडरस्टैंड द चाइल्ड बेटर. सो बहुत सारी चीज़ें लैक करती थी, बट बेसिक यही था कि जो टाइम टेबल था, जो सिर्फ पढ़ाई वाला टाइम टेबल था, आई थॉट कि द चाइल्ड इज़ नॉट डेवलपिंग 360 डिग्री, द किड हैज़ टू डेवलप 360 डिग्री. ऐसा था. बहुत सारे रीजंस थे. एंड देन माय डॉटर लाइक उस एक दिन वो बोली कि शी स्टार्टेड प्लेइंग चेस. मतलब दैट टाइम चेस वाज नॉट, मतलब आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट 2017-18. तो शी हैज
How old was she that time?
so 17 minus 6, so 11, 10 and a half, 11. So at that time उसने बोला कि should I, मतलब chess takes 4-5 hours, should I go to school? और तो हमने कहा ठीक है, that's your decision. she just came to me कि पापा स्कूल जाने का कोई लॉजिक नहीं है क्योंकि मेरे को चेस खेलनी है. तो मैं ठीक है. So and that time we didn't know about NIOS also. So first what we did, we went to the school. हमने बोला हमारी बेटी स्कूल नहीं आएगी और कोई क्लास नहीं अटेंड करेगी, कुछ नहीं करेगी. आप मतलब हम आपको कुछ 20% फीस दे देते हैं और शी विल बी देयर. एंड शी वॉज विनिंग मेडल्स फॉर द स्कूल. तो उन्होंने दे ऑल्सो एग्रीड कि हाँ ठीक है, सब कुछ ठीक है, लेकिन शी विल कम बिकॉज शी वॉज इन लॉट ऑफ स्पोर्ट्स. शी वॉज ऑल्सो फुटबॉल प्लेयर एट दैट टाइम. तो फुटबॉल भी खेल रही थी स्कूल के लिए और स्कूल की कैप्टन थी फुटबॉल में. एंड चेस में भी वो अवार्ड्स ला रही थी. कभी भी जैसे उनके पास कोई खेलने के लिए नहीं होता.
We'll try to keep it in English. We have an international audience.
Okay, got it. So she was playing football, she was playing chess, she was a football captain, she was playing chess, she was also going to other sports. So they said okay, because she's doing a lot of things, and for them though, one load has gone out. So we started with that. We paid 6-month fees, and then we came to know about NIOS, and then we shifted to NIOS because everybody said that homeschooling kids are heavily preferred in Ivy League colleges and all. Matlab, if you are a homeschooled kid, at least 100 points drop, you can get admission. That's what they told. But they need diversity, and homeschooling kids, they just prefer a lot. And that
Wow.
too, a homeschooling kid coming from a third world country, from India and all. So that has to be very exclusive. So a homeschooling kid will get a lot of benefits in future. Yeah, that's true.
That's a big point. I didn't expect that. Homeschooled kids getting priority in advantage in Ivy League colleges.
Yeah, they will. So every Ivy League college will have the criteria of diversification. So a homeschooling kid. So now my daughter, if you see, she's been homeschooled, and she was a good chess player. She has a lot of awards in chess player. She also represented Karnataka in boxing. She also played football. And then she has started running her business at the age of 15 and a half, 16. She started running her business. So when she applies, so
She
this
has
type
a
of
good
application
story.
will not come to them. So they, for the diversity sake, she will get a huge points in Ivy Leagues. So aisa nahi hai, people should also think about that. If the kid is, and I tell you, because I have seen lot of people just for the sake of diversity, and they want to go to Ivy colleges now. They take 1-2 year break. They just start a startup for the sake of getting into Ivy League. They just want to get their application diversified. So yeah.
Who is homeschooling meant for?
Personally, I feel homeschooling. I have not thought about that question, but yeah, I personally started feeling that homeschooling is meant for everyone. Every kid can be homeschooled, but yeah, I think people with a lot of very low financial means, it is tough, because I think they are at that stage where I think so I believe in this thing where you go from lower to bottom. So everybody is in some kind of stage. Somebody is at a lower stage, spiritually, financially, whatever you say. I think for parents who are doing homeschooling, if you see homeschoolers, they are majorly people who are a bit evolved mentally and a bit evolved financially. I would not say a lot of financially, but mentally and spiritually, people who are very evolved, they come very fast to it. So people who are in creative backgrounds, people who are founders, and sports people. So people who are seeking a lot of depth in the system, and questioning a lot of questioning the system. Those kids, those parents will very, very quickly come to homeschooling. But people who are just starting, they are struggling, and their parents are not educated. For them, I think schooling is the best, because at least the home is not a good good place for them. So they should go to a school and get educated there. Let's say people coming from slums or a very low background, I think they should go to schools. The system is not good for them, but yeah, once you start have some kind of means, yeah, homeschooling becomes better. And if you really want to, and homeschooling kids, I have seen a lot of homeschooling kids. Majorly, homeschooling kids will develop a lot of skills, do a lot of things. Yeah.
You said about financially, somebody who is better financially, and who. So when you're saying that, I was just thinking, what is this? What is the profile of a parent who wants to, who homeschooling is better
Yeah.
for? So basically, who wants to do it something different? Who's questioning the existing system?
Yeah.
Who thinks that the child deserves much more, or I can
Yeah.
do much better
Yeah.
for them
Yeah.
if I do it my way, if they are closer to me instead of a
Yeah.
traditional system. How does one manage time for education, homeschooling?
See, first thing, what I learned as my parenting is that even though your child is going to school, that doesn't mean that you don't have to give time for the child. Matlab, giving time to the child is as important to a traditional schooling kid as important to a homeschooling kid, because every child yearns for the parents' time, and if they don't get it, they get frustrated. In homeschooling, what I feel, because once my daughter started homeschooling, she started becoming very independent. So the profile, there are 2 3 profiles what I feel. First
One
is,
second.
so if you talk about the profile, there is one go-to profile where the child is a bit mentally not, I'm not talking about the complete, but little bit of autism and little bit of ADHD and some all these mental illness. The the schools are not the option, so they are basically homeschooled. And there are also some physically disabled kids also, which get bullied in school. They don't make friends and all. I will suggest that homeschooling is a better option. And then there is a profile where sports, matlab, if you see in sports, you have to play regionals by age of 15, 14, 16. So if you are going to school, you are not, well, it's very, very difficult, 1% chance that you will go and play for the country, any sport. So basically, these kids all are getting homeschooled. And then the profile of a lot of parents I have seen, a lot of rich parents I have seen, that they are homeschooling their kids and they are creating a lot of infrastructure for the child. So there is one family I know in Bangalore. So they have created in their at their terrace. They have created a lot of infrastructure for their child. There's a climbing wall. There is this, well, a lot of creating these stuff, drawing, painting, a lot of things they have created for the child. So they are also doing, and a lot of middle class families where the parents are very enthusiastic about child learning with them. That is also, a lot of middle class families are also doing, where a lot of educated people are there. Travelers are doing, traveling families are doing.
There is something I don't like about the current educational system. I was lucky. I mean, in my family, I'm so fortunate, me and my brother, to my parents for thinking a little different and doing things different with us. I was sent to a boarding school, which is a little bit different from traditional
Oh,
schools like that. But my brother was homeschooled for the
what?
reason you mentioned. He was into sports. So for 3 years, he used to just go to school for exams.
Yeah.
8 to 10 hours, he used to just train for table tennis.
Wow.
And he turned to be a national player. He won medals for India. He was a captain for India for
Wow.
South Pacific school games.
Wow. Where is he now?
He is in Mumbai now.
Okay.
He's also doing very well. But what I see in my hometown and what I see with my cousins is they'll send the kids to school, get back from school, go to tuitions, and then eat and then sleep.
That
Play
is
a
the
bit.
worst thing. That is the worst thing.
Why does somebody have to send to tuitions when you have already sent to school?
That is a question I ask parents. And I will just give an example. There is a kid in our society. The kid is very smart, kid is very intelligent. And the kid got failed in 12th. So I asked his parents, why don't you ask the school when the child is 10 hours in the school for 2 years and the course of CBSE is so easy, it's not very hard course. And then also the child failed. So you can do the maths, but how many hundreds of hours he had been in school and then he has failed in such an easy subject. So basically the child's time is wasted. And then you have to go to tuition also. Then what school is doing? So you are wasting your child.
What is the
Time.
point of school if you have to send to tuitions?
Yeah, I don't understand. So we never sent our daughter to tuition. And I think parents are also at a mistake because they feel well, I talk to a lot of traditional school principals also. They say we want to do an alternative education, but this is parents who force us to be like that. Ki hum put more pressure on the kids, give them more homework, make their writing better. So I think the pressure comes from the parents more. But if you want to win the rat race, then you will be just a rat.
I liked being in boarding school. That was fun from the social point,
Okay.
because from the town I came, I got a much better crowd of teachers and students and colleagues to grow up with.
Sure.
That got me such an international personality in myself, going and speaking to people, having these skills. But to talk about tuitions, I also benefited from tuitions. When I used to come back in vacation to the house for ninth exam, I they did a schooling for me, for which there was a one-on-one teacher who explained me a couple of concepts. I went back to the school and I topped my class in that subject. So that is a point in favor of tuitions. Basically, one-on-one teacher and student
Yeah, one-on-one.
learning.
So one-on-one learning is the best learning. That is, and our company, what we are building. So we had some 7-8 core things. We always feel, and even for our daughter Pihu, what I felt is only one-on-one thing is the right education, because then the child understands the teacher, and teacher also understands the child. Even 2:1, I feel doesn't works. 1:1 is costly for everyone, but yeah, it works, because when she was training for a top chess, she was getting trained for the top chess player. They used to sit for 3 hours. They will teach her for 3 hours, 1:1, every move, how you will interact, and the teacher also understands psychologically and mentally where the child will fail or win. And if you see the top guys, they are all one on one. Yeah, but I don't know about boarding. You have to tell me, because I have never been in boarding. But what I've seen when I was in my hostel, there are 2-3 boarding guys which came. I found them like homeschoolers more mature than traditional schoolers, because they are not in a bubble. They have to fight it out somewhere. They understand people better, and the only thing I found was that they were bit more. 2-3 people what I met was bit more. The emotions were a bit less. What I felt. Uh, must be. I don't know. I didn't have.
So social skills definitely improve a lot,
Yeah.
because you're just in an environment
Yeah.
where you have to be independent, you have to make groups, you have to collaborate, and you get a mini experiment of what the life and the open world is going to be in terms of being in an open pond where you are swimming with everybody else.
Yes.
You get an experience of that. So your social skills, those groupism which might happen, or uh, everything teaches you, even if it's partiality or if it
Yeah.
is not, teaming together for sports or doing some activities together, or going out and doing some mischiefs and
Yeah.
adventures and bunking. That also teaches you a lot. I used to, when I was in school, I used to model myself. Okay, if this is a situation, if I get in real life, what should I do? It was a good experiment for me to see and how people react and how things are to be done.
You learn. I think you learn how people are actually when you are in hostel, right? And you learn at a age faster.
Dynamics, yeah.
Yeah, group dynamic. Because when I was in hostel, I really, and it was very hard for me to understand that how people make groups, and how you are with one person for 15 days and then you're with another person for 15 days, and how the group dynamics. Matlab, everybody is looking for their own profit, and that
Give and takes are there.
give and takes are there, so you learn it better. But what I feel is that if the parents have some time, like me with Pihu, parents have some time, I think homeschooling is better than board schooling. That's what I feel, because there's a lot of things which parents also tell. There's a lot of, let's say I'm in business. I was not in business, but let's say I'm in business. So our families have been business families. We are basically business families, Agarwals. So what I've seen now, the kid learns business from very fast, how to spend money. So there are ups and downs. The child learns, and then that the family thing is very good in with when the child is there in the home. So now Pihu started her business, because there was a lot of interaction between me and Pihu. Ki what we have to do, how we have to do, how do we have to understand what. Matlab, there was some kind of things which were coming. So if you would have been home and the parents are looking at you, so you would have taken some decisions faster. But definitely, what you learned in boarding school is will help you out because to manage people, to manage emotions, I think is what you learn in hostel. Because I learned managing emotions in hostel, because before that I couldn't manage, because if somebody says me something, I will feel bad or something. But yeah.
In homeschooling, how do kids cope up with socializing?
So I have studied a lot on that, because we have been building this business from past 2 years, and so there is a person in US, and he says that this is the worst form of socialization, what happens in school. So there are a lot of articles on that. I will send you some links also after this.
You can just share gist.
Yeah, so the gist is this is not the right socialization, what he says. And this guy was, I think, deputy director or some very senior position in American education system, central government education system, and he resigned. He says putting a child of the same age, 40, 50 kids of same age in same place, doesn't socialize them. It is a hyper competitive environment. It is not socializing. It is more of competing with each other. It's like everybody has put in a race and everybody has to win in every aspect. I look good, I am better in marks, I have better this, that. So what he said is actual socialization happens when the class will be in the age of where 3 to 4 years gap people are in one class. So the child understand to be a peer also. Child understands to be a junior also in the same class. Child understands to be a senior of some kid also. So this hyper competitive environment of the same age is not socialization. And what is socialization? They just today they go, they are pressured for exam, then they're pressured for homework, then they're pressured for classes, then they're pressured for performing somewhere, arts and all. So right type of socialization is not happening. And what about the socialization with your family? A traditional child goes in the morning, comes at 4 o'clock, eats, does go to tuition or homework, 8 o'clock, slept. But what about the socialization with their internal family? A homeschooled kid will always be very close to his family. That socialization is also very important. It keeps the bonds very intact. And what about the socialization with their grandparent? What about the socialization with the relatives? Lot of functions kids and the families miss because the school is there, the exam is there, this is there, that is there. So a lot of socialization which happens. And my daughter, she was getting socialized in many places. She was playing chess, so she was socialized in the chess class. She was doing boxing, so she was socialized in boxing class with different age groups, and people with different commitments and all. In boxing, a lot of very lower middle class and lower class people comes, so she understood with them. She will go in the auto with them in a boxing tournament. Chess, there was a different kind of socialization. Swimming, there was a different kind of socialization. And so socialization is not just putting kids in one hyper competitive environment. That's what I feel.
So you recommend homeschooling families to send them to courses and classes, sports classes
Courses and classes, yes, there has to be some structure around it, because what happens,
for
it gives
socializing.
not about socialization, it's also about there has to be some structure around it, because there is some step towards it. Though there is no examination happening, but let's say the child likes something, and first and the most important is you can build around a lot of things. So I was also very interested, which I was not able to do, was there is something called where the kids are taught manners and how to like models and all these guys is taught. I also talked to that lady when she might be daughter was 13, 14. So you can also do that. But a lot of things you can teach which is not taught in school, and a lot of things which is going on LinkedIn, give you this financial literacy and all this thing can be modeled in a homeschooling environment. Even my daughter also has small stock portfolio. She's also learning about stock markets, sports, this, that. Yeah, the classes has to be there because the child also has to move out of the house.
How do you create a curriculum for homeschooling kids?
So NIOS is a board that's called National Institute of Open Schooling. Their office is in Greater Noida, and they start from 1st to 12th, and it is recognized like CBSE, and it is actually a part of a NCERT. NCERT builds their curriculum and structure, and it is marked to the market according to the National Education Policy, and they have a 10th board and a 12th board, and which can be used for IIT and wherever you wants to go. So that structure is already in place, and it started 30 years back in India. So 1995 they started this thing.
How to get admission in NIOS?
So getting an admission in NIOS is very easy. You can it's online. You can just go to the NIOS website, and you can choose so NIOS has a lot of subjects. You have to choose those subjects, and the admission, so the whole process is online, so it's all digital. All the documents can be uploaded, the photo can be uploaded, and then you can submit the application and it goes through. And best part of it, if you are going for 10th class, they don't need an 8th pass mark sheet also. Nothing is needed. You just can get an admission in 10th.
So if a kid is smart, very smart compared to his age group, even though he's 6 years old, he can take admission for 5th class.
No, it's not like that. There are some ages restrictions in NIOS also, which we have to come out. but yeah, a bit of better than what is there in a traditional education system. So I think by 14 you can pass minimum by 14. I think you can pass 10, something like that. I'm not very sure, but yeah, I think by 14. But you have to have a 2 years gap. So what happens if you take admission in NIUS? Let's say you took admission 2024. You can't give the last paper by 2026. Minimum 2 years has to be there because that is recommended by national education policy. So you can't give all the exams in 6 months and you become a 10th pass. It's not like that.
All the exam as in first to 10th.
Yeah, let's say no. Let's say for 9th, 10th, there are 5 exams to be given. So if the child takes admission, so every 6 months the exams are happening. So it can't be like that. All the 5 exams you give in the first 6 months and you pass and you get an admission. Matlab, you get the result or you get a certificate. So even if you give 5 out of 4 exams, if you give, you will have to give one exam in the last second year, and then you get a passing certificate. So 2 years according to national education policy. You
There
have to
has to be
invest
a
10.
gap.
Yeah, you have to invest 10 for 10th and for 12th.
So it's open for everybody. Anybody can apply for it. What documents do you need for NIOS?
For 9th and no document. You just say you can just go ahead and you just put it. There are no specific documents that you have passed 8th or anything like that.
What about first to 8th?
Yeah, so there are 3 sections. One is called A, one that is called A, B, and C. And so for A, first, second, third. So first, second, third is one cohort, one group. So the child takes admission. If it takes admission in first, so there are 4 papers the child selects, and it gives in the NIS gives 3 years to pass those 4 papers. So that matlab the child will take 3 years to pass those 4 papers, and the exam happens every year, yearly once. So he takes 3 attempts and he can pass. But the attempts are more than that. He can give more attempts, but minimum is 3 years he has to pass. Then he takes admission for 4th and 5th for 2 years. That is called B. And then he takes admission for 6th, 7th, 8th. Then also for 3 years. And then there are five papers he has to give. So it's more like a board exam. They has to give first 4 papers, then 5 papers, then 5 papers, and he can pass. And then he takes admission for 9th and 10th, which is called secondary, and then senior secondary, 11th and 12th.
And where are these exams conducted?
So exams are conducted all over the country. The centers are in all the cities in India. Yeah, so it's not a problem. And the admissions also happen 90% in all the places in India, everywhere. And the list is given on NIOS website.
And how does the assessment work for NIOS?
So assessment is basically, I know more about 10th, 11th, 12th because my daughter took admission in 11th, 12th. So it happens is that they select the paper and the subjects to choose are very large. So
So you have option to choose from any subjects. There's no compulsory.
Yeah. So compulsion, though they have made the groups, but the comfort of choosing subjects is very high. So I think there are some 35, 40 subjects to choose in 10th, where CBSE gives only 6 to 8. So there are some
35.
35. Yeah.
Wow.
So my daughter in 10th, she took actually 6 subjects. One was psychology, one was entrepreneurship, psychology, and then business studies, maths, science, and English. So you can choose art, you can choose science, you can choose commerce in one go. So even for her 12th, she has computer science, maths, psychology, history, and English. So the combination is all the 3.
Next question is from my international friend. She was from Russia. She was asking, how can international students and families do homeschooling?
Internationally, the homeschooling is a very big concept.
How do you design their curriculum? You said about NIOS, which is India, right? Indian.
Yeah.
So
IGCSC runs a homeschooling board. It's called Wolsey Hall. Also, there's something called Wesley Hall. I will share the links with you. So they do homeschooling all over the world. IGCSC has their own homeschooling concept. I think Cambridge has IGCSC. I have that thing, but yeah, one of the board, Cambridge or IGCSC, they do homeschooling. But it's a pretty costly because NIS is very, very cheap in India and it is considered, and there are some issues with these boards in getting admissions in institutes in India. It's not very clear, but with NIOS, so you easily get admission everywhere.
International people also can take admission in NIOS?
I think they can take it. I have not looked into it, but I think NIOS, NRIs can easily take it. NIS can take it, but I think it is open must be open. I have to check it out. But yeah, there are boards internationally. IGCSE is one board, and there is one board uh, because it is more on online thing. Yeah, you can do that, and and I think in Russia also there will be some homeschooling. It's legally allowed homeschooling. Only few countries doesn't allow homeschooling legally, like Belgium.
Oh, they're banned homeschooling.
Yeah,
Oh no.
Belgium or some Western countries have banned homeschooling. I don't know what are the issues, but yeah, few Western countries have banned.
How much does it cost for education through NIOS?
NIS is very cheap. So for 2 years admission, it's I think 2,000 rupees, 2,500 rupees for 2 years, and examination fees is 800 rupees per exam. And in 2,500 rupees, everything is done, and the books also are free of cost, which is given to your home, and all the material is online. Even NIS has their all it 60% to 70% of their subjects classes. NIS has also built a digital, a YouTube channel for them. NIS, so every subject, lot of chapters, NIS has YouTube also. You can also
Oh.
learn through that. It's all free of cost. Books also come free of cost. And there is also one very special thing in NIS which is called on-demand examination. So on-demand examination is very interesting. Actually, in on-demand examination, you can select your exam date. So I think 3 months and 3 months on-demand examination happens from January to April, and somewhere December to December, some 6 months it's there. And all these 3 months, you can select the examination date. Matlab, I want to do it on 26th March, this exam. Okay, you can get the exam. So it's not that hard date is like a CBSE and ICSE that this date only you have to give the board exam. You can select the date
Select,
also.
it's flexible.
Yeah.
So somebody, for parents, for homeschooling families, they can design their own curriculum.
Yes.
Use subjects from NIOS and also do extracurricular things like
That's what we did.
your daughter did chess,
Yeah, that's what we did.
mix and match, teach them whatever they want.
Yeah. Lot of time.
Next question is, what if they want to teach a subject but which they don't have expertise in, or there are some parents who are not that educated?
Yeah.
How do they cope up with it? Because once a kid starts asking question, they'll keep asking why do it, and after a certain point the parents can't answer. What do they do in that case?
So what we did was that we took out the best. So I was very surprised. I have to tell it. When I was in 2020, when this COVID came, so I am a very big physics enthusiast. So I was also teaching my daughter. So I just put an advertisement that I want to learn this physics and all. So a professor from IIT Kharagpur approached me, and he was charging just 500 rupees per hour to teach me online. So the cost is not extra heavy for me, and then I learned it. So even for Pihu, lot of people you advertise whatever she wants to learn can come online and teach you, and the cost is also not exorbitantly high what people think, and the quality is very good. So the teacher who is coming to the school is just a B.Ed pass, and 90% of teachers who are coming, they are actually not. I'm not saying that they are not good for anything, but they are not the best of the societies.
Yeah, some of the teachers were so boring. I mean, my favorite subjects were favorite because the teacher was good.
Yes. Yeah.
And I wish I had one good one for math.
So here you can select a favorite teacher. You can go to the website. There's something called Super Prof. We used to go to Super Prof. There's some websites. People will advertise. You want to teach, novel, writing. My daughter, when she was in 10th, 9th or 10th, what subject we taught her? Digital marketing. You learn digital marketing and writing, communication writing. So at that time she had her own website, the homeschoolingdiary.com, and she used to write blogs. This is more of a better skill than learning all this history, geography. And she used to write poems also, English poems. I don't know that website is on or not. We have to make it again on. And so the subject which I taught her in 9th was digital marketing and written communication, and the teacher was the best in the country. He was in the first third rank. So he was teaching people who are 35-40 years old, MA pass English, and who wants to be a writer. He was teaching them, and my daughter 13-14, she was also learning from them. So
You can get the best teachers in that subject. Very, very easily accessible.
Yeah, and it was only 12,000 rupees cost for in 4-5 months. And then when she started writing and all, we put her online every week. That kid teacher used to take her 2 days a week, and she started writing, and her writing became very well. Matlab, writing skills became matlab, I think she write better than an MA or a MA pass English. So you can do a lot of mismatch and all, lot of things.
What about specialization and higher education for homeschooled kids?
They are given a lot of preference. That I want to say to your viewers, they're given a lot of preference because of the diversity thing they will get, and definitely they will start something of their own. Definitely, whatever the homeschooler is, if he is being, there has to be some rightness towards the whole homeschooling thing. They will build some skill because they have more time. Let's say the traditional child's kid is very intelligent and he's coming to home, and let's say he's playing chess. I'm just taking chess or badminton. He gets half an hour, 45 minutes, he gets tired. But a homeschooling kid, even though he's not as, let's say, skilled and intelligent at a traditional school, but he will get 2-3 hours to play that. So the skill development becomes faster, na, ultimately, because he has enough time and enough energy to build that.
So kids can decide what they are interested in and start specializing in that instead of waiting till college and dropping out from engineering to figure out what they want to do in life.
Yeah, and I tell you, there is one family, and I know them. When we started homeschooling, their daughter, they were homeschooling their daughter. So they just kept her free. Let's see what she does it. And she started doing gardening. She was very matlab, closer to gardening. And she picked up gardening. And they were like, the kid was homeschooled from childhood. The child picked up gardening so well that they were Bangaloreans. They sold their house, and they were not very rich, but they sold their house. So they are, IT guys. And in near Hosur, they took a plot of land, 2 acres, 3 acres, and the child was given complete freedom to, start doing agriculture. I think at the age of 15, child runs her YouTube channel also. I don't remember. And by the age of 10, she was running her YouTube channel. I think she has some 10-20 employees in her agriculture thing, and she's producing that, and she consults companies and people on agriculture.
Wow. So you can have super specialization early on and grow much at a higher pace from the beginning itself. Even Pihu, even your daughter has a chess academy at the age of 15-16.
Yeah, she started at 15 and a half. She started business. मैंने कहा ठीक है, you are playing chess, but she started getting little bored because chess has to be 6 hours every day. But we thought that now you have a skill. Let's start a chess business. I am with you. Yeah, I am with you. But it's not her alone. And today I'm not saying first she started by herself, started from her society. Then she started 1 year. We were just doing her. Now she has more. I think she employs 4 people. There. One pure employee she has. Then there are 4 teachers which she has part-time, which is giving money. And I think... and
We'll talk more about this business model from PU itself. About the time management is the next question for homeschooling. Many a times parents just want to send their kids to school so that they have free time to do other things, home chores or their own job or work. Husband wife both are working. How do they manage time to teach a kid at home?
So I have my own take on it. First of all, you have to come to a conclusion that what we did is that my daughter doesn't have to come first in geography, first in history, right? If you're running to that, then homeschooling is not an answer for you, because you have so you can just be good in anything, but the overall character has to improve, and that will only improve when the kid has time, right? And secondly, somewhere the subjects has to come in which are different from real education. You will also agree that doesn't come from these books. Even your journey, you will say that this come from the books which you are reading now, and this education goes on. So these things has to come fast. And what I'm telling parents is that you can develop child's experiences. But the child can start learning by themselves also. You can build that in child. You don't have to sit 3 hours with the child or 5 hours with the child. You can build that. Let's say my daughter, she will study 5 hours, 6 hours chess. We don't have to come and intervene. We don't know anything about chess. She will study by herself because that's her goal, that the tournament is coming. I have to play. I have to win. I have taken this decision. I have getting more time than other people. So I have to do something.
What about parents of younger kids?
So I tell you, when you leave the child, ना, don't be afraid कि ये क्या करेगा. मतलब people are afraid that the child has to learn this by this age. The child has to learn this by this age. Learn by this age. If you really come out of that fear, child will learn a lot of things by themselves, right? But let them go something to explore. Let's say my friend, when they did the homeschooling, the child explored, uh, you know, the gardening aspect of it, and now everything she has learned, she is also doing her 11th 12th, she's also getting good marks and all, but already she is established in the life. By age of 25 30 she will be like, what, people are at 50 55 running her own company and all, whatever it is. But you have to give some time for the child, and that fear has to go, because your fear is basically ruining your child's future, what I feel. It's parents' fear.
And many times the fear is not of the parent, but it's of the peer pressure, other parents.
Yeah.
Your child will be left behind. What will you
Yeah.
do? So how do parents reply to that?
So I didn't reply to them in that sense, because I didn't care, because I was very confident that my daughter is doing very well. Whatever standards they have set, I don't care about them. That was my pejorative. But what I felt is कि one thing was very clear, and that is my thing कि you don't need to see. We have made this thing कि your 12th has to be passed by 17. By age of 17 you have to pass 12. By age of 15 you have to pass 10. By age of 21 you have to pass graduation. If I see myself 47 years, if I wouldn't have passed by 22, what big thing would have happened, basically? So the skills would have, if I would have made more skills rather than getting these degrees, I think I would have been better off than what I was there. So timing is something which can go faster and slower for a child. You understand what I'm saying? So sometimes the child, when they got confidence now, they can do 2 years in 1 year also. They will learn 3 years thing in 1 year also. Because this education, what we are teaching them through NCRT and ICSE is not very hard. They can learn it fast. But what I feel is that self-learning has to come. If the child is not self-learning now, the child will not lead a very strong life. That's what I feel.
Yeah, that was lacking, I think. Nobody taught me how to learn.
Yeah.
You just go to the class, see what's written on the board, copy it,
Yeah.
and that's just it.
See, I tell you one thing which I learned after homeschooling. Everybody talks about freedom. 95% people, if you give freedom, they will never be able to handle it. People want slavery because they want that something is happening. Now something has happened. First, I get up in the morning, I go to the office, I
They
work.
need routine.
They need routine. Freedom is hard. Homeschooling kids now, I'm telling you, homeschooling kids learn what is freedom, and they know how to manage freedom. And that is the only thing I see in my daughter. She is very confident when she is alone. She's not in some kind of pressure and all, which I feel I have. That freedom thing is very strong in homeschooling, and that is actually what life is. You should know how to see. You make millions of dollars also. I've seen a lot of people made millions of dollars. Then also they can't sit in house, but they can't manage their freedom.
I have usually heard of homeschooling kids doing very good in the arts and languages. But do you also think uh, homeschooled kids can do in engineering and science? Get
So Albert Einstein is
admission
homeschooled.
in. Huh?
Albert Einstein is homeschooled, and Thomas Edison is homeschooled.
Ah, yeah. He
And
was kicked out. They called him very dumb.
yeah, they both were homeschooled. And Wright brothers, I give Wright brothers, they were completely homeschooled, and they didn't have any formal degree, and they created the first aeroplane of the world, which US government couldn't produce. People who were in the cycle shop completely homeschooled. Why? Self-learning. Albert Einstein did self-learning, self-analysis. He did everything. No degree. It was self-learning. Edison self-learning, Nikola Tesla self-learning. Wright brothers is the biggest story of homeschooling, and a lot of people. So you can do.
Another biggest objection about homeschooling is about mental health.
Hmm.
Do kids feel lonely when they're home all day long? Do they face mental health issues when they socialize with other kids?
So I sit in Beehive, and you have also sit in Beehive. All these are traditional schoolers. What is your take? See, and thus people are interacting with each other. They are just sitting on their computer and working whole day, and they have come from traditional schooling, so they don't have any social skills. They don't have any communication skills.
Social skills, but what about mental health issues like loneliness or depression or
So
anxiety?
I feel loneliness and depression is more in school. So you can be very alone in a place filled with people like me. I always felt extremely alone when I was in school,
Hmm.
right? I am not a psychologist, but yeah. And secondly, the kids doesn't feel lonely. A person doesn't feel lonely when he's doing what he likes. That's what I feel. He doesn't
Hmm,
feels.
hmm, hmm.
And third thing is the child is not a child. By 9, 10, 11, the child starts maturing fast, which we parent doesn't understand.
Yeah, and how can they be lonely, right? They always have parent to talk to. Always
Yeah.
they can share what they want.
Yeah. And they have friends
In
and
the
more
courses and
time.
classes they go to. What are some challenges of homeschooling families?
Challenges of homeschooling families is always very mental ki oh my matlab we are always ki am I on the right track. Matlab parents will always have that na, that we are the
Insecurity.
insecurity that we are the gods of this child, matlab we have the full responsibility of this child's life. It's not like that. But yeah, that insecurity is very high sometimes in homeschooling families. And the problem, some homeschooler they overdo it. That insecurity na, sometimes some homeschoolers will overdo it. So some kids na, there will be so many classes going on with a homeschooler that it's better than to send a child to a traditional school, because the child is morning going to Kathak, then going to Bharatanatyam. Matlab, it basically they are bringing all the things to the child, matlab the whole timetable to the child, not giving that child a free time. So a lot of insecurities in the parents, and definitely child also comes very deep into the house thing. Child now knows ki if there is something happening between family, matlab father and mother fighting, or what is happening in the family and all, the child starts picking up fast. So sometimes parent doesn't want that child not to get involved, but I feel that child should be involved in that, because the child starts learning about the family and thinking that the hard work that parents put in bringing them up, the homeschoolers understand very well.
What are some communities or networks that homeschooling families can join?
Many. There is a group called Swashikshan. Swashiksha is a group where all homeschoolers come, and there are a lot of WhatsApp group in Bangalore for homeschoolers, and there are a lot of schools, alternate schools where homeschoolers go also. So and there is a school called SASE, which is a homeschooling school. So you can select. You are a homeschooling parent, so you can select that, okay, in 1 month my kid will go 3 times, 3 days to the school. Matlab, it's like that. Or some emergency they can go to the school. Weekly once also you can do that. So yeah, there are things like that.
What are alternate schools?
So alternative schools in India are those schools which doesn't follow the Indian education policy. And they are also, their education also happens through NIS, or they don't follow any board. And 80% of the alternate schools are in Bangalore. So Bangalore is a very fast forward community in that sense, and alternate schools will be completely different from a traditional school, very closer to a bit of, it will be a center of homeschooling and traditional schools. So there will be class, but not like a class. The teachers will be more like a facilitator, and there will be a lot of freedom for the child to learn, and they will also take them to trips, and there will be agriculture in their home. So there is a alternate school in Bangalore where even the whole residences are made by kids, and all the furniture is made by kids, the food is made by kids, and the kids study also.
Yeah, I really enjoyed vocationals. I'm so happy to be in a school which we had 4 periods in a week where we could do anything what we wanted.
So there's a school in Bangalore. There not one. There are 3, 4 schools in Bangalore. So I think 8 to 10 acres of land, 60 kids. Every child has some kind of tree house, and they go and see sunrise in the mountain in the school. There's a small mountain in the school, and they see sunset in the school. And the classrooms are very open. There's no specific timetable, and they do agriculture, they do farming, they do and exotic plants, and they also study artificial intelligence and machine learning at a very small age, and there are a lot of animals. It's like a farmhouse. So there are schools in Bangalore.
My aunt runs a school in a village,
Wow.
English medium school.
Wow.
We had a discussion about vocationals and things to start there.
Yeah.
What can she do? How can she have this alternate school kind of feel or have these extracurricular activities for her kids there?
So you
Is
have
there
to
any support she can receive from
Yeah, we have
people
a
in Bangalore?
yeah.
or-
There is a group. There is a WhatsApp group, and there is a group called Coils, COILS. This is Center of Independent Learners and independent or something, coils karke, there is a group. All these alternative schools help each other, and there's a lot of infrastructure around it. Easily I can help you out, I can connect you to all, and they are very happy. So these people are not competing each other like traditional schools, and they have very very open this thing, and they are very inclusive in that sense. I think you should visit one. I can take you to it.
So I really want to give a shout out to my Masi. Her name is Sunita Devi.
Wow.
She runs a school in a village called Karmala, which
Wow.
is in Solapur district of Maharashtra.
Wow.
She's doing an amazing job. The videos of the kids talking such good English
Yeah.
and
Wow.
so many skills, it's really good. So, and if any one of you want to connect with her or do some projects in that school, you're most welcome. You can come and share her details with you.
No, but Bangalore community will support her. I can connect you, and they're very very passionate people. Bangalore has the highest alternate schools, and they are growing. And also, if the kid is a bit small, autistic, and these alternate schools also take them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where do you find these? You said WhatsApp groups and networks and communities for homeschooling families.
You will easily find on the Google if you type it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that tough. And Facebook, there are a lot of homeschooling India, homeschooling parents. There are a lot of groups, and they will let you in also. So once you start connecting, so homeschooling is not as bad. There are 35,000. I got this number from somewhere. I don't know, but yeah, there are some 35,000 kids being homeschooled in Bangalore.
Wow.
And they say that there are some total homeschooling kids 55,000 in India. Out of that, 35,000 are in Bangalore. I don't know this is official figure or not, and so 35,000 is a not bad number, and it's growing.
Can you give some examples of ways of homeschooling? The first time I saw or came across the concept of homeschooling was when I went to a gathering in a house and the host was homeschooling her kid. And her style was no NCRT, no books, no curriculum,
Same for us.
whatever the child wants to learn. She's feeling like learning Mandarin today. Okay, let's learn Mandarin. She's thinking of doing maths today. Let's do maths.
So there is a structure also, and the company we are building, we will guide parents on that thing also. So first thing is unschooling. Matlab, we were also more of unschooling type.
What is unschooling?
So there is a section of homeschooling. Unschooling means like what the friend did. So like Pihu also when we did, so there was no structure that this time she will get up. I don't know. People will feel what the way, but this was us. So her day was planned by her only, and her education. Yes, there was some kind of commitment from her, but she will decide what she wants to do for next 1 year or 6 months in her life. Yes, there was some kind of overseeing by ourselves, but she was only deciding it. So it was not very, but yeah, but she built her own timetable. I think the kid she wanted some kind of timetable she built by herself. So unschooling is whether you leave the child by yourself.
Or
Do
what
it.
if the child wants to play video games only throughout the day? Or if he's
That
getting
is-
bored of not
That is
wanting to anything?
See, I tell you why I'm 100% confident if parents give enough time for the child and they listen to the child, and the child is not left like that, the child will not completely play video games. I think it is more born from the frustration. But that is my experience, and it can be wrong. But my daughter, we were used to read a lot of books with her. So she start picking on books. I think that is there.
How do you manage between screen time and outdoor activities?
We never had TV in our home. Matlab, we had TV in Bombay, but
But
then
all
we
these
didn't.
resources are online, right? Again, you have to show them YouTube videos. And
Yeah.
so it's all screen time increases. And then how do you balance that with?
No, it's not like that. The whole chess thing, what she was doing was through books only, and she was playing games, but a lot of things happened through books only because you can't learn chess only by screen and all. And screen time, though, I say that everybody's screen time has increased a lot today. Matlab, you can't work because sometimes your OTP is coming, sometimes somebody's message is coming. So it's not, but that specific screen time which she had, and we had some 2-3 hours where she has to go downstairs when she was young to play. But it was unpardonable. Matlab, I will say to her कि I think she will also tell you that 5:30 ना तुम्हें नीचे जाना है 7:30 से ऊपर पहले आना नहीं. Like, you don't have to come before 7:30. You have to go and play with the friends. Where she built a lot of leadership. That is what I saw when she started building her leadership skills. I always thought that she's not a very leader type person. But when I left her downstairs and she started making friends, and then she started making friends, and then she became the leader of the pack type, and then she became the captain of the football team, taking initiatives and all. So yeah, it's like, I don't think so. There is some kind of fear ki if we let the child do it, then this thing will happen. But I don't think so. It happens. The child also after 2 3 hours, 4 hours will get. In homeschooling, if the child is whole day playing, after 3 4 days, he will get bored. He will say, "Okay, I have to do something now."
So your understanding is that child has a very natural instincts of when to do what.
Yeah, 100%.
If we
I
just
believe in
let
that.
them flow as water, they'll
Hmm.
nurture very well.
Yeah, it is like that. At some point of time, parent has to leave the child on its own. Na? You are deciding that age at 16 or 17 when the child moves out to the hostel and all. Then you don't have anything. Now the themselves only themselves only creating their timetable and what they want to do. So some age they are doing that. Why can't it be before? So that age, no psychology or nobody has fixed it. I think I think you have put it more correctly than me, that I believe that natural instinct, that child also knows what is right and what is wrong for them. The only thing is we have to acknowledge that कि yeah, what you are doing is right. मतलब you don't have to say like parents ना कि ये कर दिया, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, you did this wrong. Just sometimes acknowledge that this guy is also saying right, and everybody is right in their own way. We have to accept that thing also, no?
What is TrueSpark?
So we started this journey. I was working and working, and I don't know why. I think it was more of God which said that you have to start a true, homeschooling platform for kids. I actually rejected that idea in my mind. This can't work, but I don't know. The force was very high, and it came from inside that you have to build a homeschooling platform for kids, where it's not that can't be an online school, but it has to be something where you guide the parents, guide the child towards self learning and success. And success, according definition, the success definition is what the child wants to be successful at, not the definition of the society. That's what TrueSpark is. So we are building that platform where the child is done goal setting also, which is not done by anyone. So the child decides their goals. There are three goals. One is personal goal, one is academic goal, and one is social goal. These three goals are decided with us, and on these three goals we work. Apart from some practicality, like they have to pass the NIUS, they have to also get some certificates so that they pass from 10th and 12th. But it is very self-learning and centric, where child will decide that these are the goals, and then we work on the goals continuously on that.
So what services are you providing in TrueSpark?
So now what we have launched in TrueSpark is that we are providing counseling services for the child, which is more of a goal setting. And then we are providing the NIOS admission and all, what are the doubts and all for the parents, and getting the admission. And if there is any kind of issues for the whole year, for the 2 years, so there is some issue in hall tickets, examination roll number, whatever it is, that's what we are completely doing it. And we are also providing, so we are very innovative way of tracking the child. So our counselors or our backend people will call the child every day. We'll fix the timetable of the child, but the child timetable is very independent, and the child learns, and there is a bit of cajoling from our side that you do this in 1 day 2 day, practically call the child, so that there is a pressure on the child that I have to finish this, and the child finishes it, and then we do the doubt clearing session. So we don't want to do the online school thing, and slowly we pick up in that. And we also have a plan for next 1.5 years, where we want to introduce the system like that the child learns 85, any child with any intelligence can learn 85% by itself. He doesn't have to go around the school and do the teaching and everything. 85% he will learn by himself. And that is not only YouTube videos, only YouTube videos we give. It will be very scientifically what we are designing it. And 15% we do the doubt clearing, and the child is free to then you can do the homeschooling of the kid without any fear. You can travel, you can do this, you can build skills, you can let the child do whatever it is, and the child also get good marks with lesser time, and the child has more time to build their skills and be happy.
What is the cost and fee structure for TrueSpark?
So our cost is what we have kept is yearly 30,000 including tax. That is
13 or 30?
30,000. 30,000 is way cheaper than any schooling what you do, and that is what our cost is. And for whole year we will take care of the child on that sense. For 2 years it will be 60,000. basically 11th and 12th. NIS is not one. So 11th, 12th is not in NIS. It's 12th, 10th and 12th. So per year we take 30,000, in which a lot of services we are providing.
So you'll guide the parents also.
Yeah, we have 6 counseling sessions with parents and 12 goal setting sessions for kids, doubt clearing, tracking of the child, and everything we take care. Yeah, but it is not like a class that there is a class happening and then there is another class happening. It's not like that, and the child is free to do whatever they want to. And we also help around in that parent ask you, what is there, and we are also building one more company when this homeschooling idea came. So we thought ki how can we tell a child that he should be homeschooled, alternate school, traditional school. So we should know the child. So past 1.5 years, we are also building the assessments for the child, very in-depth assessment, which we are using artificial intelligence, machine learning, and we have some IIT IIM graduates working with us as a
Wow.
co-founders.
It's like an aptitude test to understand if where the child is most suitable to study in homeschool,
Yeah.
boarding school or traditional school.
Yeah, and it is very, very accurate because we have put 1.5 years in it. We use the generative AI in that, and it has led to extreme objectivity. It's very objective, and it gives 200 parameters of a child, which no psychology test does in India till now, no, in the world. So that's what we are building. So it will give accurate thing ki where the child is. It will help the parents also, and we are building that company in a different way where we are giving first time we'll give the right exact learning environment for the child. Ki if your child, we take the test, and then parental conflict is also in that test. So we know where the child and parents are in conflict also exactly, and we can pinpoint where the child will go in the career in 3,000, 4,000.
What are some examples of parent-child conflict?
So we have a lot of parent-child conflict as we have done our testing and all, but it's very complicated. So in our
Some examples, 2-3 examples if you want to give.
very, very minute also where, so I have this example of my friend, and the child is very close to his family, and they are like those family where the child and parent are on the same page. And when we took that assessment for them, there was 30% conflict in extreme conflict in their
But at what points? Like what
points.
is
But
there
there
some
was
issues?
there was biggest point was that the child is being trained for sports, completely for sports, and the assessment says the child doesn't like playing sports.
Oh no.
The child was earlier, not now, child was being trained to be the Olympian or gold medalist for one sports, but assessment clearly told that child is not good in matlab child doesn't like sports that
So
much.
now what is the situation?
Yeah, they are not
Not
pursuing
pursuing
that.
sports.
Yeah, it clearly comes. And so that the software is very intense, so it's very minute level. It also tells, it's very interesting, that child gives himself this factory performer in sports, and the parents gave him a very low rank in sports. So the conflict is, there's conflict. So these minute conflicts comes very. So our software creates 24,000 data points, more than 24,000 data points for a child, and through that 24,000 data points accurately it tells where your child lies on a lot of things. And we also give learning environment for the child. So now with this software we can exactly tell what color, even how your child's space should be created. It will give that
In the
much-
house.
in a house. So let's say my daughter, if we would have taken this assessment when she started homeschooling, if her room has a small place where she can dance, a small place where can she do some exercises because she's very kinesthetic,
Mm-hmm.
her upbringing would have been better. So that is also we are suggesting.
Mm.
So it's a beautiful thing what we are doing. So both of these get connected. So the parent does this assessment, and we tell exactly where your child will fit, and we will also tell if the parent wants to do homeschooling and child is not
Mm-hmm.
very should be somewhere where homeschool. I think a bit of alternate school will be better, not traditional school. So we'll tell them that alternate school is better to do rather than homeschooling, because we can't play with a child's life.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important.
You were sharing an investment story, or a traditional school person had come and wanted to invest in your startup. Can you share that story?
So we met someone yesterday, and this guy is a principal or a founder of some schools in Bangalore.
Hmm.
And we were discussing about some business aspect of that, and he said that in 10 years, 8 to 10 years, formal education system either will die or will be very close to dying. all these traditional school systems will be dying very fast than people have imagined. Because he was saying, because he's running traditional schools, and he says that these schools will start coming to an end in 8 to 10 years, because of this, YouTube and podcasts and people questioning the system so much and all this thing, and then artificial intelligence coming in and job market changing so fast in past 2 3 years. He says the traditional system will die, and there are a lot of high income groups and higher middle class groups which are having very very less kids. In India, the kids are, matlab, the population whatever is growing, but the top level population which feeds these schools are having very less kids, and they are like becoming a Europe where the population is growing very less.
We have with us Pihu, who is the daughter of Nitin, who we just spoke to, and we will ask her and how she feels to be a child who is homeschooled. How was your experience being homeschooled?
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, it was very ups and downs. It had its ups and downs, but it was not something which was boring at all. Like, it gave me a lot of stories. So yeah, it was a good experience.
Share some stories.
Yeah, like playing chess, and then there was once, like, me and my dad, we were going to my first tournament after COVID, and like I had played tournaments before that, but this was a big tournament. And I remember we didn't get a seat, so both of us didn't sleep the entire night. We only had one berth. Like, there are a lot of stories that I have now, playing chess and then doing homeschooling, meeting different kinds of people.
Now you are out of school. You're grown. You're a grown up now. How do you compare yourself with your peers who have been traditionally schooled?
Like, it gave me a lot of life experiences.
When you
Homeschooling.
interact with other kids, do you feel there's some advantage or disadvantage in yourself compared to them, in your personality, in the way your outlook towards life?
Yeah,
Do you
like,
see
even
differences?
with my other homeschooling friends that I meet in NIOS, when I compare them to, normal school children, they have more life exposure. They know more how the world works. And like, when you're you're in schooling, traditional schooling, I feel like you're in a bubble. It's like just ghar pe, and then at school, and then you don't know how the world works and all that. So that's one big difference that I see. And there are many other differences also. Like, I feel that homeschooling kids were more independent. Like, they were more independent in their free time. Like, I've seen my friends in traditional schooling, they got bored very easily. If you give them free time, they don't know what to do with it. They'll either go partying or they will stick to social media. But I've seen that my friends in homeschooling, they were more productive in their free time. They never got bored. That was one big difference.
They never got bored.
Yeah.
Wow. When you were in traditional school till what standard?
Till 5th. From 6th, I'm homeschooling.
From 6th you're homeschooling. So when your parents told you that you're not going to school now, what was the reaction?
I was like, people generally would expect कि I would be very happy, as a kid, कि वो अभी school ही नहीं जाना है. But I was not. I was actually very scared and very tensed. I was like, because I am always been kind of, थोड़ा in the डरपोक side. So I was like, oh no, I'll not go to school. What will happen? All my friends I might get left behind. This, that. But then I thought, okay, if I want to play chess professionally, I need to take a big step. I need to give that commitment. Because if I'm going to school and I'm returning by 4 o'clock, I'm already tired. And it's not like I'm going to come at 4 and then study chess for 8 hours again. And that's not possible. You need time to relax, time with your friends. So I knew that if I wanted to go to chess professionally completely, I need to take that step.
So chess was the turning point.
Yeah.
How did you discover your interest in chess?
It just happened, naturally it happened. Like, when I was in 3rd or 4th, me and my parents had gone to my father's house, my father's friend's house, and he was a chess player and he introduced me to chess and I really liked it. That time I was not much into it, okay, I like it. I started taking classes, but by 6th I was like, okay, I want to do this the entire day, I can do this the entire day, I'll not get bored.
And now you have a whole chess academy. What is the name of your academy and what happens there?
So the name of my academy is Pawnstorms Mind and Masters. I started it like 1.5 years ago. I professionally started it, but before that I was coaching kids and all. So I started it in my apartment. I started teaching kids in my apartment, and slowly I kept expanding. I kept learning. Right now we have around 4 trainers working with us in around 10 societies. and we organize chess classes in apartments. And we are also into pipeline and many other things like Go, checkers.
Oh, board games.
Yeah.
Go, the one which you play with.
No. So Go is different. It's like chess. It's also 3,000-year-old game. It was invented in China. And it is also very good for the spatial awareness of children. There are international tournaments in Korea, Japan, and China. It's like a professional thing, like how chess is over here. Top players over there earn $1 million per annum.
What is Go?
So, like this explaining is a bit tough unless I don't show you.
Is it a board game?
It's a board game. It's like chess. There is black side, there's white side. But it's not like that definite. It's a bit abstract. It's like you have to capture more territory. Like in chess, you have to capture the king. In Go, it's more abstract. It's a bigger board. It's 19 by 19. Chess is 8 by 8.
So it has cubes in it.
Yes.
Like
It has
squares.
cubes, but you play on the intersections. You don't play inside the squares. Yeah. And they're supposed to capture more
It looks
territory.
like chessboard only.
It looks like a chessboard, but it's on one color. Chessboard is black and white. Go is only...
Then you bounce those pieces, no?
That's checkers. In
acha.
Go, once you keep a stone, it does not move. So it's not in India. Go, it's not that famous, but it's a huge sport outside, and I think it's going to explode over here also because chess is such a big thing now.
It's really mind-blowing. 15-year-old who is homeschooled, has her own startup, got inspired in chess, played chess, and now has started a board game company, training people in chess and other board games. It's really fascinating. What is your startup story?
I mean, startup story is basically I was playing chess, and then in my free time I used to coach children. Playing, I used to get bored practicing. I thought, I'll coach children in my free time in my apartment. Children used to ask me, please coach me. I also want to learn chess. So from there I got inspired, and then I used to remember my troubles as a chess player. I will not take the name of my academy, but like there were like 20 kids in one class, online class. You could never focus. You never got attention from teacher. So it was basically I was learning on my own, doing everything on my own. So I thought I want to start an academy where teachers go offline and they teach. Because online, offline is a huge difference. And there are small batches, and they get the perfect attention, perfect curriculum. So that was that was my inspiration.
Did you feel that you miss out on something as a homeschooled kid?
I used to feel that before.
On what kind of things?
Actually, I didn't feel it as much, but then, when I used to watch like social media, I think that gave me more of a feeling of being left out. Like, I was like, oh my God, people having so much fun in school and I'm working here so hard for what? But then I slowly realized everything has its own sacrifices. Like, I have independence, I'm exploring, I'm having more exposure. So now I don't feel that. Now that I'm running my own academy, I don't feel any of that.
So you feel now you're happy about your and your parents' decisions.
Yeah,
Very happy. You would recommend that to others also.
I would.
And what are some challenges that you faced that could have worked differently?
I mean, there were many challenges. Firstly, homeschooling in our family was something completely unheard of. There was a lot of criticism from family members, which I never talked about this, but put a lot of pressure on me because I always felt I have to prove myself, to prove the decision that homeschooling was correct. I need to do something big. And I think this awareness, like, it needs to spread. Ki jaise how it's schooling, like that is homeschooling. And then other challenges were we didn't know anything about homeschooling either. We are also very unexperienced. So I think there were some mistakes like NIOS, and we didn't know how to deal with it and all. But now I think if you go back and we do it, I would have done some changes.
Like
Maybe, joining 1 or 2 classes, and then in NIOS, sometimes I miss my exam because of this. So some changes I would have done. Maybe taken like morely from my mental side, I would have taken less pressure because I have this habit of taking pressure, and I took a lot of pressure.
how has friendship been for you?
It has been very good because I was at home, so I had many friends in my apartment. And I had this one very special friend. She also used to skip college most of the time. So we used to spend a lot of time together.
She was older than you.
She's 2 years older than me, yeah. And I think instead of having like, I'm not the type of person who has many friends. Even in school, I only had like 1 or 2 friends, and I would be like very close with them and very open with them. So I spent a lot of time with her. We used to go out, and then we used to study together. I never felt like I didn't have friends.
And what about, I mean, I would have asked this question if your father was not there. But, anyways, what do you think about relationships?
I've never been in one, and I personally think dating is a very personal choice. I till now have never felt to date anyone. Maybe like I think dating is something which you should do once you have found your meaning in life.
Hmm. And your parents are open for anything. They go according to your pace.
Yeah, they are. I mean, sometimes they also get scared because this is also a new thing for them. But they trust me, so we work it out.
So, according to your age in traditional school, you should have been in 11th or 12th right now.
12th.
12th.
Yes, I am in 12th. I have my exams next week.
And we're recording a podcast now. So, 12th also you're giving with NIOS
Yes,
or?
NIOS.
And what do you plan to do after this?
I don't know, but it's very unplanned. But for me, majorly it's running my company, taking it to new levels. I will do degree, but that also I want to do from correspondence.
So, what is your vision with Pawnstorms?
I want to make it the biggest board game company in India.
Wow. Investors, check it out. You're listening. You got an opportunity here.
Yep.
And what will happen? What services will you, like, what problem are you solving with Pawnstorm?
So for the players, I'm solving the biggest problem which I had was of playing practice. So playing practice basically means that you're practicing, right? You're studying from books, you're solving puzzles. But if you directly go and play in a tournament, you'll make mistakes. Right, you'll always make mistakes, that's natural. So instead of going and making mistakes in the tournament, if you play games before with a playing partner, you'll make those mistakes before and you learn from them. So when you go to a tournament, you're more confident because you've already played with someone. You know what mistakes you generally make. You have the practice of playing with games, playing with clocks, handling the pressure. So when I was playing, I didn't have that. I used to just play online and then go and play in tournaments. So when we organize classes in apartments, we make sure that every month we have 1 hour playing session, which is like a mini tournament. So kids learn how to handle their nerves.
What do you think about chess.com?
I personally use leeches. So
Leeches.
yeah.
What is the difference between both?
So chess.com is also a good site, but leeches is completely free. It's what my coach used to teach me through. And it has many features. It's what I use to teach online classes.
And so you talked about this pressure and tournaments that can also, and Playmate, you also get these online, right? In Leeches or
See,
chess.com.
you play online. Personally, you can play online, you can play offline, and you'll see the difference. You're playing online, you don't know who you're playing, you can do anything. There's no pressure. It's relaxed. When the opponent is sitting in front of you, he's going to play a lot of mind games with you.
Like verbally also, like talking to you and
Yeah. Like so I took my students first time for a tournament 2 months back, and then they faced this issue because many students, they'll call the arbiter for no reason, for silly things like he is talking to me, he's touching the pieces, and then the students will get nervous and then they will blunder. So a lot of mind games.
so the opponent uses these kind of strategies also, like mind games and whatever way you try to break somebody's.
When you're in time pressure, they will stand up and they will like put the pieces loudly to make you more pressurized.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow! I never thought of it in this way.
There's a lot of things, yeah.
That's why you need a group that can do this.
Yeah.
How can somebody join Pawnstorms?
So right now we are there in Google. You can Google us. You can contact us. We'll come down to your apartment.
What all things will you do there? So it's like one-on-one training, and then
There is group
also
sessions. There is one-on-one training, online training. whichever works for you. So we'll organize a demo session. Kids come usually. We have around 10 to 15 people coming for a demo. We start a class for around 6 to 8 people. And then we'll have, regular classes.
Wow. So you do all that, and also you can make the whole system for the apartments also, no? Where they can team up and tie up, and like
Yeah,
an
yeah.
ecosystem within one society or an
That
apartment.
is in the pipeline right now. So we want to organize community tournaments with apartments,
Mhm.
like chess tournaments and board games. So that's also in the pipeline. Right now, my complete focus right now is in the chess classes,
Mhm.
but there are many other things in the pipeline. One of this we are doing is for old people. So they're
Not just kids, but even for the old people who
yeah.
need, like, who are retired, who need time for recreational
Yes,
activities.
yes. And I think that is one of the biggest market segments in the coming 10 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
even more than the kids.
See, the birth rate is dropping. I think that there are going to be a lot of old people, and then they're going to be sitting at home, and there's an increasing rate of Alzheimer's and dementia. So we have created this product where weekly thrice, 1 hour, 1 hour, we will provide them a 1 hour session in which we'll have yoga, one motivational speech, and also some board games, and one outing every month.
Wow. That's a whole package for well-being, like
Yeah,
through
yeah.
sports and through games and chess.
Yeah.
Very nice, very good concept. How did you get inspiration for this?
Actually, the mastermind behind this was my dad. I was not much thinking about this.
Mhm. So how do you look up to your dad? You have seen him start working in a company, then starting his own startups. So what impression do you have of him?
I think one thing that I like most about him is that he's very courageous to be himself. Even when his parents are telling him ki, what are you doing? The whole world is telling him what you're doing. He's like, no, I think this is right and I'll do that.
Hmm.
That is one thing I've still not gotten, and I hope that I'll get it from him.
Probably. I mean, of course you will.
Mhm.
You're his daughter. Yes. That shows in him, no? From the first meeting interaction we had, that was quite evident. He'll
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
what he wants, and he, without any stress, he's very cool about whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, it has its ups and downs, but yeah, he's a chill.
So when you were homeschooling, who spent more time with you in teaching you? Your mom or your dad?
Actually, 90% of the time I was with myself, but yeah, my parents equally spent their time with me. They taught me different things. My dad used to teach me physics. My mom, I used to help her managing the house. And my dad is a very good in physics and maths, so I used to learn that from him. And then if my parents saw me getting bored learning chess alone, then they would come and sit with me, even though they hated it, and then they would practice with me.
And in these subjects, which subject you didn't like?
Almost all of them. I don't like school. Like, I like them, but I don't like studying them from textbooks. I have read a lot of book on physics, string theory. Many books I have read on physics, but then I don't know, whenever a textbook comes into my hand, I start feeling bored. My most favorite subject is psychology.
Hmm. So when you used to get bored, how you used to deal with it? Do you drop that subject completely or study that through some other means?
I mean, let us say I don't like a subject, then it was most like last minute studying. Just read it and give the exam and get it done with.
Just for passing the exam.
Hmm.
So you liked psychology.
Yeah.
And what did you study on that? And did you go more than your syllabus of NIOS and study? Or
So NIOS has very comprehensive course. What I felt like, I've talked to a lot of CBSE kids and they see my textbooks and they told, oh no, we didn't have that. We didn't have that. It was very comprehensive course. So we learned a lot in psychology actually in 10th. I have not started studying for 12th yet.
so they have more in their books than compared to CBSE.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, that is. And yeah, obviously you asked me, did I read more than that? I did. I did read some books on neuroscience. And then I read this book by, I mistook my wife for a hat. It's a mental disorders.
Nice name. What is this book about?
It's about mental disorders, extreme mental disorders. So there is it's by this author, I forgot the name, but like there was this guy, and then he used to replace objects. So one time he mistook his wife for a hat, like as the title suggests. And then there's phantom limbs, people who lose their arm and they get amputated, but then they still feel it's still there. And they're like, oh no, I am picking this coffee cup, why are you not seeing it?
Hmm.
So cases like that.
Hmm. And when you get stuck at a particular point that you don't understand even from the textbooks, then what do you do?
See, my parents helped me out in case I don't understand anything. But let us say that they are also not able to help me out. I will look it up online. These days there's ChatGPT. So my entire computer science exam I studied from ChatGPT and I gave.
Oh.
Yeah. I bought the pro subscription. It was pretty cheap, and and it gave me everything, coding, everything, and yeah,
Yeah, I mean, parents should use AI now for
yeah,
teaching. Include that in the curriculum.
yeah, definitely. It's a powerful tool.
About teasing and bullying, did you face issues of teasing and bullying as you were growing up?
I think I bullied myself the most when it came to homeschooling. I was my biggest critic. Ki, you're not doing this right. Why are you resting more? You should work hard, prove yourself. But from other peers, I didn't feel as much bullied. Maybe I was a bit left out, but then that is person to person. I have many homeschooling friends who are very extroverted, and then they're having a bunch of friends and every day they're going out, and it was my nature like that. So I never faced any bullying or something like that. In school I did.
In school you did, but
Yes.
not in house. So that's another advantage of homeschooling.
Yes, I have many. There was this one kid in my class. He was very overweight. He had some health issues and he was bullied a lot. Even he had to leave school. He was very happy at home.
And when you used to go out to play, like in your 6th, 7th, or 8th, with even the traditional school kids must be there.
Yeah.
So what kind of interactions would you have? Did it ever occur or become an issue that you're not going to school and he's going to school or she's going to
See,
school?
I'll be honest, after I started homeschooling, I didn't connect with most of the traditional school kids. So
You didn't connect. You didn't feel like
Yeah.
talking to them.
Yeah, like it was not connection as in I didn't talk to them, like we met, but I didn't feel as close to them. Like, whoa, that friendship thing was not there very much. Like, it felt like we were in two different worlds. And then, like, there are some people I connected with, like I told you, my friend, and then I had one more friend. They never judged me, but some people are like, कि क्या कर रही है, and then they feel a bit weird. So I felt a bit left out. But
How would you deal with it? How would you deal with it?
I mean, you deal with it, it's life. It's like something that to deal with it. That's it.
Just ignore and find better
Yeah.
friends. How do you imagine yourself once you're independent?
Independent in a sense, you mean living on my own,
Yeah.
like in that way, right? I don't know, I haven't thought out that far, but I imagine myself running my company, and then it is my dream. I never told anyone about this, but I want to open an alternative school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I think about that a lot. I imagine doing that when I'm independent.
So you aspire to have a alternative school.
Yeah.
And what will be the top features of this school?
I'm thinking about that, but I think the most important thing would be like the kids can explore from a very young age.
Have you heard about the school of Elon Musk?
No.
Have you heard? You should really see. He's also doing that for his kids. He has like
Okay.
12 kids now.
Yeah.
And all are of different age.
Okay.
But his model is something to be learned. I thought we would ask and get to know about it. But he's doing something very interesting.
I'll look it up.
He also believes in... He doesn't believe in the traditional system. So you should check what he's doing.
I'll check it out, yeah.
And what were the most happy moments?
Most happy moments. One of the most happy moments was when I won the state championship. And beside that, I was happy. Like, happy moments was spending time with my mom, spending time with my family, which I knew otherwise I wouldn't be able to. Going on vacations when other kids are going to school.
Yeah, that's another advantage, right? You don't have to plan your vacation as per
Yeah.
the school timetable. You can
That I
take.
didn't even do when I was in normal school. When I want to go on vacation, I'm going.
Hmm. And share some story of your chess games.
Of my chess games. Okay, so I'll tell you about this. So one of so what happened once was I'd gone for a tournament and I was in a really bad slump. So I talked to this. He was wearing a watch.
Slump as in you're feeling sleepy or
No,
you're
no, no.
exhausted?
Like I was in a losing spree.
Uh-huh.
So I was in a really bad state of mind, and then I went to this tournament, and then I basically this lady was wearing a watch, and if you're wearing a watch, that's a immediate loss. Yeah, it's not allowed. So I knew I shouldn't have claimed it, but I did. Like I was winning that match anyway, but I shouldn't have done it. It's not ethical. And then I went back and I cried a lot. I'm like, no matter what happens, this is not how you should win.
So you felt a moral
Yeah.
responsibility. Something pricked you.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you are not allowed to wear watches in
No, you're
chess
not.
tournaments.
So before analog watches were allowed, smart watches were banned, but even analog watches are banned.
Why?
Yeah.
What is the reason?
See, like all electronic items were banned because of cheating, and then I don't know, maybe somebody used an analog watch to cheat, so they banned that also.
It's not related to time.
No, you have a chess clock.
You have a chess club
Yeah.
there. And share about a game where was very tough and you won and that feeling of victory.
So I was playing the Open State Championship in Mysore, and I was playing against this player around 1400. And if I won that match, I knew I would be in the top 20. So I was very nervous, but like I was not as nervous I usually am. Like I was calm. Like I have this habit of being very nervous before games. That time I was like, okay, we'll do it. And then I sat down for the game. I think we were the last people playing. It was like 4.5 hour game. It was not like I was losing, but it was a very tough game. We were going equal, 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 equal. In the last maybe 20 moves, I found a little bit of an advantage and I kept pushing, kept pushing, kept pushing. Finally, he got tired and he caved in. That was a like I gave it to my coach for reviewing and he was so happy. He was like, wow, you played so good. And then you played like I am. And like, that was one of the happiest moments.
I am.
International master.
So now we are getting to know terms of the chess scene also. So what was the thing that made you win that? What was that you kept pushing it,
So
pushing
he
in it?
had
Or,
a, like he made a wrong pawn move.
Hmm.
Pawn is a small soldier piece, so he played that. So one of his squares was weak. So it was like an outpost for my army, basically. So I kept my knight, which is the horse, over there, and I could like control his territory a lot. So because
with
of,
just a knight in that
yeah.
position.
So I kept tying down his pieces, kept tying down his pieces, and then eventually kept building the pressure. So slowly, slowly, I started capturing his soldiers, and then finally it was a checkmate.
Why did you choose the name Pawnstorms?
Pawnstorm is a concept in chess. So it is when we take our pawns to attack the opponent king. It's like the 2-3 pawns in front of the king, we take it to attack the opponent king. So I used to use that concept a lot when I was playing. I used to love just, taking my pawns and breaking their castle. So that's where I took
Mostly
it
the
from.
centerpieces.
No, the corner pawns. So when the
Ah.
opponent is castling, his king is in the corner, right? So then we take our corner pawns to break his castle.
Oh. So that inspired you for this name,
Yeah.
Pawnstorms. You're storming in with your pawns.
Yeah.
Like you storm in this
It's
world.
like little kids and we are giving them, we are empowering them to face the world with chess and other board games.
Mhm. And share some fun stories of your students from the academy.
So I will share you one of the most inspiring stories of my students from the academy. So there's this one girl in my academy and she was, always losing. From when she joined 2-3 months, she was losing to everybody. And I thought, I tried helping her, but then I thought, I was also a new teacher. ki okay, you know, maybe she might not continue and she'll give up. But then this girl, she went home and then she studied every day. She worked so hard. In 1.5 months, she was the top student. Until now, she's one of the top students. So
Wow.
this was very inspiring for me also.
That your own will and determination can bounce you back.
Yeah.
Wow. Very interesting. Any question your father has for you? So you started a chess academy. First you had 4 students, now you have 50. You have also hired people to teach chess and other board games. And you're just 17 and a half years old. What is your turnover?
Yeah, it is around 15 lakh per annum.
Wow. So what would that bring your valuation to?
I think that should take it minimum to 2 crores.
Wow. And if you go to Shark Tank, what would you ask for?
I would ask for 1 CR for 1%.
And do you have any specific people in mind you want to invest, like from the sharks?
Yes.
Who?
I don't remember her name, but yeah, I would like to work with one lady who is there.
Which business she does?
She's into sugar.
Sugar. Vinita.
Cosmetics. Yeah, Vinita Singh.
Amazing. Cool. We'll send a request to Shark Tank.
Yeah. So
And how much do you think your turnover will be in few months?
I want to make it to minimum 7.5 lakh in the next year, January, per month.
How much in a year?
I think that would be 90 lakhs per year.
Wow. Almost
Almost a CR.
yeah.
By 21, I want at least 5 CR to 10 CR per turnover per annum.
What have been your lessons and journey in entrepreneurship?
I mean, this has taught me a lot. I think more than playing chess also, because I was very introverted. Like, I hate talking in public. If 1.5 years ago I had to do this, I wouldn't be able to do it. I would just leave. So, being an entrepreneur taught me to open up, to talk more, talk to people. And yeah, that is one of the major lessons. And manhandling, handling tough situations. You get stuck somewhere, talking your way out.
How did you decide whom to hire?
See, we have a very selection process, okay? Like, we go to tournaments, we filter out people. Then after that, we have 3 set of interviews. First is like an oral interview, and then we check their credentials, and then we take them to a class. We see how they are with kids. If we feel they're good with kids, then only we hire them.
What were the challenges you faced early on?
See, when the business is small, no, there are not many challenges. When the business grows big, then there are challenges. So right now, there are many challenges. I mean, class gets rescheduled. Sometimes the trainer is sick. Sometimes there's a holiday. Sometimes there's a PTM. Sometimes there are exams. So, you have to manage everything.
How do you manage that?
You just do. You're there constantly. Pre-planning. Okay, there's the Shara vacation next month. So this is the schedule of me rescheduling the classes. And I'm sharing it to the parents. A lot of pre-planning gets things sorted.
And all these trainers are older than you?
Yeah, all of them are older than me. Some are like 3 years older than me. Some are almost 45.
Oh. And how do you have the negotiation with them? Salary negotiation and...
I don't negotiate. I tell them this is how much I'm going to pay you.
You like it to come otherwise?
Yeah.
Find some other place. Okay, nice. And what motivates you to keep going?
When I wake up every day, I'm happy. I'm looking forward to something. And then I see a future. So that's why.
How do you manage the finances? Like asking parents to pay on time and...
So the thing was, 3 months ago, I was a one-man team. I was doing everything. Now I've hired somebody who does backhand and sales. So he does it now. He calls the parents. Like many times, the fees does not come on time. It comes 1 month later. So you have to keep following up. And then you have to pay the trainers and all. finances are managed right now, but yeah, it's a constant process.
So, what causes you biggest stress in this business process?
The biggest stress that causes me right now is just getting, like, expanding more. It's like it's a bit difficult to expand because there's so much handling, so much managing. But yeah.
How much time goes in actual teaching and how much time goes in management for you?
So I don't take many classes. I teach around 6 batches, and I
In
have
a day,
no
in a
no
week?
in a week. I don't take more than one class in a day, and around, like, building these strategies, managing, that takes around 4 to 5 hours per day.
From a student's perspective about homeschooling.
I think if a student around 10th is watching this, he'll be wondering कि मेरी future का क्या होगा if I leave school, what about my security? Because by that time you're completely like school जाते जाते आपका brain वैसा हो जाता है ना कि degree तो चाहिए ही. Even I was like that.
Career, scope,
हाँ. So I
college.
think, yeah, that is one thing we can cover for the students कि even if they do this, it's not a backhand, like उन्हें वो पीछे नहीं जा रहे हैं.
In fact, they're out of it. They're
Yeah.
not in a prison of thoughts or a channel.
Yeah, like, so what happens is ki you want to keep the business rolling, so you need to have 2 demos at least every week. So right now we have 5 trainers without classes, and then 2 demos.
5 trainers without classes.
Yeah, they are like in the wait list कि अभी इन्हें classes देनी है. So the thing is that they share a vacation next month. So we needed to have 2 demos this week. But then the thing is both the managers are not picking our calls suddenly. This has never happened before. So that was a huge setback.
Which managers?
Apartment managers,
Ah.
property managers.
Okay. Maybe you can tie up with these apps, no Brokerhood and MyGate.
हाँ, like उसके लिए we have to
They have a good
expand more
database.
और बड़ा होना पड़ेगा. And then you
The
have to
management.
personally connect at the end.
You can come to this society. There's a lot of people here.
This was my, like, as soon as I entered, we can do here.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to stay in touch with me. You can start here. There are 3 societies just in this campus, and very nice people.
Okay.
Homeschooling का भी जो inspiration I got was from a family who's living here.
Okay.
Your father is giving you compliments that you're very strict when it comes to business, very outward, and you need things to be done on time, and you're very direct in talking. This is very opposite of you as a homeschooled kid who used to feel nervous in socializing or talking to people. How did this change come about?
See, I think both are very different things, like, even before I might be introverted, but if I want work done from somebody, I want it done. So just now the same thing. I'm not like strict or something, but if you don't do my work, then I'm angry. That's it.
How do you get angry? Show us your anger. I'm an employee who's not doing the work. What would you say me?
I would say, why is it not done? I need it by the end of day.
Wow, that actually felt like some 35 or 40-year-old corporate manager.
I don't want to sound like a corporate manager.
Thank you for watching this podcast till the end. Please let us know in the comments what more topics and guests would you like to see in future episodes.